The Celestian frontier had never been kind to travelers, but on that day its cruelty reached new heights. Ion's storm split the sky, star winds roared like ancient beasts, and the fractured moons cast eerie shadows across the red terrain. Evan, a lone human explorer from the United Terran Federation, forced his battered skimmer forward through the chaos. He wasn't searching for glory, just mineral samples and enough credits to keep his ship repaired for another season, but fate had more planned. Through the storm haze. His scanner pinged an emergency life sign, weak, collapsing, not human. Evan almost dismissed it. Out here, interfering in alien affairs often meant political trouble. But the ping pulsed again, softer, desperate, and something in the quiet rhythm reminded him of a heartbeat struggling to go on. He veered toward it. When the storm parted, he found her. A massive figure lay half-buried beneath fallen crystal boulders, emerald scales cracked, wings shredded, and blood steaming against the cold air. Her chest rose in labored breaths, and her golden eyes flickered weakly at Evan's approach. She wasn't just any draconid, she was chrysalborn, a rare subspecies that had been thought nearly extinct, and she was pregnant. Evan froze. Every interstellar briefing had warned him. A threatened draconid mother was more dangerous than an entire brigade. But she didn't snarl, didn't lift a claw. She simply whispered, voice trembling like distant thunder, "Help, my child." "Please." Her name, she managed to tell in between pained breaths, was Elizabeth. Evan didn't hesitate. He triggered his exosuit, enhanced strength flooding through his limbs. With every ounce of power he had, he lifted and dragged the crystal slabs away from her crushed side. The storm fought him, lightning cracking meters away, but he kept going. Every time he faltered, he remembered her police-off, terrified, almost human. When she was finally free, he carried her to the shelter of a cave. The warmth from her scales nearly scorched his suit, but she shivered with exhaustion. "You risk your life," she rasped. "For a stranger." "For a mother," Evan corrected, setting down his medkit. "And for someone who deserves a chance to live." Her gaze softened, an expression draconids rarely showed to humans. Part 2. The PROMIS hours passed. Evan sealed her wounds with biofoam, stabilized her breaths, and adjusted his heater so her temperature stayed high enough for her unborn hatchling. Elizabeth remained conscious, exhaustion weighing heavy on her words. "My people distrust humans," she murmured. "We think you seek to conquer, to claim, but you choose compassion in the face of danger." Evan shrugged, embarrassed. Anyone would have stepped in. "No," she said firmly. "Many would not." Outside, the storm began clearing, revealing a luminous sky. Evan prepared a distress beacon to summon help from neutral med ships, but Elizabeth's wings suddenly lifted, blocking him. "You cannot," she warned. "The Korth Dominion hunts my kind. They would kill me, and my unborn." Evan's breath caught. He had heard rumors the Korth had been purging powerful species from disputed territories. But to hunt a pregnant mother. "Then I'll get you off-world myself," Evan declared, surprising even himself. Elizabeth's eyes widened. "You would take this burden? You owe me nothing." Evan looked at her, this towering, injured being who had once been a symbol of fear across the stars, now pleading only for the life inside her. "I owe you compassion," he replied. Part 3. The UNT they moved at dawn. Evan supported her with an anti-grav harness, guiding her toward his small starship hidden in the valley. But before they reached it, a thunderous crack split the air. Korth hunters, 3 sleek grav bikes descended like shadows, firing plasma nets designed to immobilize massive targets. Elizabeth staggered, shielding her belly with her wings. Evan dove in front of her without thinking, blasting the nearest hunter with his pulse rifle. The second hunter swooped low, voice dripping with malice through its speaker. "Step aside, human. The beast is property of the Dominion." Evan fired again. "She's not property. She's a mother." The hunter snarled, charging. Evan braced for impact, but Elizabeth roared, a surge of ancient power erupting from her throat. Flames of shimmering blue engulfed the hunter's vehicle, sending it spiraling into the canyon, but the roar cost her. She collapsed, gasping, clutching her abdomen. The hatchling. She whispered. No, no, stay with me, Evan urged, lifting her carefully. The final hunter targeted them both. Cannons warming for a killing shot. Evan knew his rifle wouldn't fire fast enough, so he did something deeply human. He ran straight toward the enemy. The hunter hesitated, just for a heartbeat, stunned by Evan's reckless charge. And that heartbeat was enough. Elizabeth's tail snapped forward with the strength of a dying titan, striking the bike and sending it crashing into the rocks. Silence followed. Evan turned back to her, breath shaking. You're safe now. No, she murmured. We are safe. Because of you. Part 4. The unbelievable TRUT. They finally reached Evan's ship. By then Elizabeth was barely conscious, but still she insisted he place his hand against her belly. Confused, Evan did as she asked. A warm pulse thrummed beneath his palm, steady, strong, alive. My child knows your touch now, she said softly. In our culture that means you are part of the clutch, family. Evan froze. Elizabeth, I didn't do this for a reward. It is not reward, she corrected. It is truth. A bond formed in life-saving cannot be undone. He didn't know what to say. She continued, voice tender despite the pain. Humans are strange, fragile, brave, dangerous, yet you risk everything for one life. That is why the stars will one day speak your name. Evan felt his throat tighten. I just did what anyone should? But only humans do, she whispered. He guided her onto the ship's med bed. As the engines roared to life and they ascended toward the safety of deep space, Elizabeth drifted into healing sleep, her trust placed entirely in a human she had met only hours before. And Evan, looking at the stars, realized that the universe had just changed forever. A new alliance. A new future. All beginning with an impossible encounter. And one human man who refused to walk away.